Now, we all love them, we all play them, we all buy them. They're video games. The video game industry is one of the industries that I'm personally the most optimistic about, not only now, but also in the future. It's a very, very large industry. It's estimated at about $100 billion in revenue every single year, and it's expected to grow at between 3 and 5% every year, which is very, very good. Video games is by far the largest entertainment industry, bigger than books, movies, music, anything. It's huge, and it's also mostly played by young people, so both the coming generation and the generation after that are going to be huge gamers, and I think there's a massive potential for you as an investor to get in on this explosive industry. Now, there's a couple of different ways to attack this. You can invest in the video game publishers, the video game console makers, or the hardware companies that makes things you can put in your computer to make the video games run better. Now, the main players in terms of actually making the video games would be EA. I'm just going to write the tickers. Take-Two Interactive, Activision Blizzard, and Nintendo. Now those are the main players, and of course alternatively you have both Microsoft and Sony, I guess. So these are the main video game publishers. EA, or Electronic Arts, has games like FIFA, The Sims, Star Wars Battlefront, a lot of huge games. Take-Two Interactive has Grand Theft Auto, Bioshock, Red Dead Redemption, and so on. Activision Blizzard makes Call of Duty, Destiny, World of Warcraft, Overwatch, Hearthstone, and so on. Nintendo obviously makes the Mario games, Super Smash Bros, Zelda, as well as all the Pokemon games. Microsoft has Halo, Gears of War, Age of Empires, Minecraft, Forza Motorsports, etc. While Sony has Gran Turismo, Last of Us, Uncharted, Ratchet and Clank, and a couple minor titles. But these four are definitely the main players, and those are the ones that I would go for if I were to try and invest in video games, where both Electronic Arts, Activision Blizzard, and Take-Two Interactives are pure video game studios. They only make video games, and they pretty much make the best video games. Now, obviously, Nintendo makes the Nintendo video game console, but that's also directly linked to video games, so it is almost a pure video game play, while obviously Microsoft and Sony does so many other things than video games, so that there are hardly video games stocks at all, but they definitely benefit from the growing industry. Now, of course, Microsoft and Sony makes the PlayStation and an Xbox as well. So, yeah, but again, it makes up such a small part of their business. It's not really investing directly in video games. Now, in terms of hardware that people buy for their computers to play these video games at the best performance possible, you have Intel Corporation, which makes processors that makes computers run faster and be able to play any new video games at the best graphics with the best frames per second, etc. And you also have Nvidia, which makes mostly graphic cards, and they do it very well. Nvidia makes the high-end hardware for your computer for video games, and these two are pretty much the dominant players, and they do have a massive profit from the video game industry, so they are definitely a place to consider. Now, personally, I own stocks in both Activision Blizzard, EA, and Take-Two Interactive. These are the premier video game makers. Activision Blizzard also owns King Digital, which is one of the largest mobile gaming developers. So if you invest in Activision, you also get revenue from the mobile gaming platform. And these are the premier game developers. I play most of their games. I have for a long time. I think all three are almost equally good investments, and it's definitely something you should look into. And I think that's what I have to say about the video game industry. Get invested. This is the industry to be in for the next 10, 15, 20 years. Everyone will be playing video games, and there's no stopping these companies. So if you want to know more about any of these stocks, the video game industry, or investing in general, head over to investingforall.net.